3, 2, 1.
Rick, where are you? Right here, there he is. Let's bring him up. This man, I learned a lot about this man. I attended a small presentation he did, and the information he's going to share with you guys today is pretty phenomenal about the Reno area. So here, Rick, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good morning. So I probably have to put some glasses up here because he put something up here that's way too small for me to read. So good morning. As you heard, I'm Rick. I'm with Reno Public Market. Also, another part of my life is Colliers International. I've been with Colliers, Senior Vice President of the Retail Department for 16 years. I've been actually a broker in town for about 35 years. So I wanted to talk to you today about my family's project and partners that we brought in to develop Reno Public Market, or the old Shoppers Square. So we are getting very, 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 very close to opening. As a matter of fact, we thought we would open in the middle of October, but with some issues with the health department, it's going to be a little bit longer, so probably mid-November. But the good news is the project's really, really coming along. And what you see there, the main photo right there, is our signature of the project, and that is our food hall, or our public market. So the project is called Reno Public Market, but it's the whole project, and we have the food hall part of the Reno Public Market. So a little bit about history with the family. So this project has been in my family since the 1930s, the dirt. And in 1960, we started developing Shoppers Square. And the first piece of that project was the currently now Bank of America, but back then it was Security National Bank, if you guys remember any of that. So they've been there since about 1961. And then out from that came the shopping center, and a guy named Sam Skaggs, if any of you have been around here a long time, Skaggs Drugstore. Sam Skaggs came to my folks. They were downtown, about Sierra and 2nd Street, I think, and said, we want to move out of town. It was like the first thing of what our industry has done, is pulling retailers out of town and taking them to the urban setting. And so we brought Skaggs Drugstore and Mayfair Market, and in 1962 we opened with that and a row of shops. And so I'm the 3rd generation in the project. It was done by my grandparents, my father and his 2 sisters, and they are now all gone, and so that's where we are with the project now. So talk a little bit about why we did the project. So as I said, the interesting thing about, we were a market and drugstore strip shopping center back in the day. And in our industry, we've done sort of a bad job of taking retailers away from the urban, or from the center of town, and moving them out into the urban areas. And in doing that, we've taken away places to gather for people. And our center's done a really good job of, you can go anywhere around the country and you're going to see the same people you see in Reno, the same tenants you see in Reno, And we think that that's wrong, because what we've really lost is that culture, that center of community, and that center of commerce. So that's what we're all about, the center of commerce, the center of community, and the center of culture. Bringing daily needs shopping back with Sprouts, who opened a little bit over a year ago, CVS, which is Skaggs Drugstore, it just got bought 3 times, and they've been there since 1962. And we downsized them, and we right-sized them, and we put them into 15,000 feet, and they were 30. And then we're bringing the center of culture, the food hall, the arts pieces that are with the property. And we'll talk a little bit more about all of those. And then several other retailers. And keeping the retailers that we had there, that you are also familiar with, that Cold Stone Creamery, the Porta Subs, the Red Wing Shoes, the skate shop, all those guys that have been there for forever. So what you're looking at here is one of the things we've done with the shopping center is we've taken it from a front on Plum Lane and a front on Wells Avenue to now it has a front all the way around. So you see the food hall there, and then you'll see next to the food hall, you'll see Blue Zone Sports, which is going right next to Sprouts on the east side. And they'll open up, Blue Zone's opening next month in October. So back up a little bit of what we did. This is an aerial of the old center, and you can see that the red area was the 2-story mall that was out in front that my dad decided to put on in the 70s, which was kind of the rage. Enclosed strip centers put a couple stories on there. It worked pretty well for a while, and then it didn't. So we tore down a little building over on the Wells Avenue side that at one time had Straw Hat Pizza, had the cleaners, skate shop was over there at one time, and then we tore the 2 stories off the front of the mall, and then tore down the entire interior of the mall. And for those of you who've been in the mall, we tore down where Marion's Flower was, a nail shop, and a couple other shops in there. So it went from 45 feet wide, now it's 90 feet wide, the food hall inside. So that gives you a little idea of what we've done to get where we are today. These photos and renderings show well, you can see the front. This was early on when the food hall had just started. Sprouts was open last year. And then the one in the top left-hand corner is the west entry over on Wells Avenue. And then again, on the north side, we've got a big patio on the north side, and I always want to say out back, but now it's front. We have a big patio out there. It seats about 80 people. The back side of CVS is now opened up, and there will be a bunch of shops out there. And so the whole project will have a front all the way around it. So we're going to take you to the site plan here and talk to you a little bit about what the tenants are and what's happening. So as you can see, Sprouts is there in the middle, and adjacent to them on the east side will be Blue Zone Sports. For all of you who don't know, Blue Zone Sports is a local, I'm going to call them a local REI. They have about 6 stores. This will be their 6th store. They currently have one out at the Summit. They have one in Carson City, a couple at Lake Tahoe, one in Truckee, and one in Roseville. And they are an outdoor retailer, big in skiing and snowboarding, and also summer sports. They have paddle boards, canoes, and they do a lot of rental and all of those things. Really good guys, and it's going to be a really exciting store for us. And this will be their signature store. This will be their largest one. It's about 12,000 square feet. We have taken Red Wing Shoes, if you see them there, and moved them out to the front pad next to Cold Stone Creamery. And they've been with us 45 years. So they've been around a long time. A lot of our existing tenants have been with us a long time. Porta Subs has been with us. They started in Mayfair Market in the deli. That was their 5th store. And so that takes them back about almost 50 years. And then Cold Stone Creamery's been there about a little over 20 years. Then you can see CVS on the west side. And then about 35%, about 30% of the project is dedicated to arts and culture. And so we have a couple tenants that we have that portray that. So the first one is Wandering Wild, and many of you may know them. It's Rachel McIntyre and Jesse Phillips. They do pop-up businesses around town. They do a real successful one at Christmas for about 3 weeks at Christmas. And last year, I think they were in a small space, about 1,400 feet. They did over $200,000 in 3 weeks. This will be their first year-round store. They're taking 3,000 feet, and they have about 350 different makers that they have with them. And they'll put about 80 of them in there, and they'll rotate throughout the year. The second one is kind of a really cool thing. It's called Maker's Paradise, and it's an art collective. They have 7,500 feet. On the ground floor, they have about 4,000 feet of classroom space, meeting space for local art groups. And on the second level, I call it co-working for artists. But if an artist wants to get out of their house, get out of their garage, get out of their back bedroom or whatever, they can come up and rent a space, and whether it's a 10 by 10 or 10 by 20 or whatever, and work in the art collective. It's gone over very, very well. This is a group out of Oakland, California. Tom Franco and Larry Silva. Tom Franco happens to be the brother of James Franco, and they have a very successful one of these in Oakland. We met with every single arts group in town and couldn't get anybody to understand how to operate one of these, and so we brought these folks. They're in a project of my partner, Doug Wheely, and Foothill Partners in Oakland, and so they came up and did that with us. And then the jewel of the project is the food hall.
Oh my God.
And this gives you a little bit more of this is our seating plan, along with the floor plan. We can seat 500 people inside the food hall, and about 300 outside. We went back after when COVID hit, and we reevaluated the project. So we had a problem. We need some outdoor seating. So we added 300 seats. We only probably had 50 seats before that. So here's the food hall. So the food hall is made up of 18 different vendors. It has a stage, and the vendors are all different kinds. So we do have a bar in the center of the food hall. It's called Honey Bar. And then the 17 other vendors, I'll give you sort of a list of who they are. So a lot of them are food trucks. We've taken the best of the food trucks. We've been very, very fortunate. In 2019, we hired Steve Schroeder of Food Truck Friday to help us curate the food hall. And Steve helped us pick the best of the best. And now Steve has come on with our food hall operator as our general manager of the food hall. And we've put together some really cool places. We are 100% leased in the food hall with the tenants. And there's, including the bar, that makes 18 of them. So we have Pink Tacos, if you've been to food hall, you guys seen them out there. We have Walk and Roll. We have Las Chipotles Pupasaria. We have Burger NV, our burger guy. We have V's Churro Bar. She has one of the longest lines at Food Truck Friday. And she's desserts. We have Nash and Proper. They're the #1 food truck in Sacramento. And they are Nashville-style hot chicken, fried chicken, chicken tenders. Ala Parrilla is Cuban, Colombian, Guatemalan, and Argentinian food. Bon Appetit Barbecue. If you've been to Food Truck Friday and see those guys walking around with the big skewers of shrimp, that's them, and they do a really, really good job. Michas Patos. This is Mexican seafood, ceviche, and micheladas. Food Truck Friday again. Big tall micheladas in the big cup stacked with seafood on top, that's him. We have Main Vein Coffee as our coffee vendor. And our coffee vendor will be right up front in the food hall. Food hall will open at 6 o'clock for them in the morning. And some of the other vendors are going to want to be open that early that do breakfast items. We have Morning Glory. People ask us if we have any vegans. Well, this is cold pressed juice and raw foods. And she's got a food truck in town. Batch and Company's coming in with their baked goods, cookies, brownies, muffins, what have you. The hungover crab. This is seafood boils. Seafood boils, scampi, cioppino, and pan roast. And then Bite Me, which is loaded fries. They're another food truck in town. Crepes and Crafts, they're a food truck from Lake Tahoe. And they'll have sweet and savory as well as French toast and waffle bites, different things. And then we have Bull Boba. This is an interesting one. It's a boba tea. If you go to a food hall around the country, almost every food hall you go to, the longest line is in a boba tea shop. I've never had one, but I understand it's full of sugar. And these guys have a twist on it. They're the only boba shop in the country that's licensed by Red Bull. So you can also, not only get sugar, you get the caffeine jolt with it. And then we have pizza. We have a pizza vendor. Every food hall's got to have pizza. And our last one is Brazilian gourmet. So, so there'll be traditional Brazilian food, and there'll be some barbecue, but it's very, very, their menu's very, very interesting. The depiction to the right of the food hall is the second level. We have a mezzanine level, and we have a special event space up there that's about 3,600 feet. And then we also have out front, which let me go back to that. So out the second level of the food hall there, the mezzanine sort, is where we will have a signature restaurant. COVID has been very, very difficult with us in securing a signature restaurant. There's the problem has been not the lack of people wanting to do it, but it's the lack of employees. And it's very, very difficult right now. So we've got a couple we're working with. We thought we had one. It fell through, but so we're looking. So if anybody has some great restaurant contacts, it's about 4,500 feet. And we've talked to all the local guys, the big chefs around town. So if somebody different, or if you know somebody out of town, we think it needs to be a really, really fun place. We think 50% alcohol, 50% food, and fun. Something that Reno doesn't have. So that's a little bit of the leasing stuff here for you. And then going out the west side, you can see a little bit more. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, the main anchor of the food hall is 50/50 Brewing and Distillery from Truckee. And they probably aren't going to open until about first quarter of next year, at the end of the first quarter. So. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is the stage. We have a stage in the center, and there's two parts to that stage. One of the tenants I didn't tell you about is up on our mezzanine level. We have a podcast booth with Public TV Reno, KNPB Channel 5. And above the stage we have a 9 by 16 foot video wall. So we'll have all kinds of things from Wolfpack games to World Cup to whatever. And also, KNBB will be broadcasting things into it, and then whatever's going on the stage, broadcasting it out. So what we've created is a window to the world. We're working with one promoter that's helping us with the stage, and he said, Rick, you guys could be the next Austin City Limits. We have a window to the world. So it's going to be really cool with the stage. But anyways, part of that stage is we have it's going to be called Live from Phase. And one of our original tenants back in the 1960s was Phase Sportswear. And many of you might have read over the last month or so an article in the newspaper about Phase. I didn't know everything about her, but I remember her name was Phase Anae. I remember her when I was very, very young. And my mom and my grandmother shopped there all the time. Anyways, when we put the front on the center years ago in the 70s, we sort of covered up this old Phase sign. And it's a neon sign, and it's beautiful. Well, we found it when we tore the building down, and we have refurbished the sign, and it now sits over the top of the stage. And so all the events will be coming live from Phase. So pretty cool place. So there's going to be something going on that stage, whether it's music, art classes, you name it. Kids coming through the school for school programs. It will be programmed all the time. So that's pretty much everything about Reno Public Market. And I think my time is up. I just sort of got the high sign. So I'll be stick around for a few more minutes. A little bit. I'm actually going to watch Teresa's thing. And we'll go from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rick. I think after hearing all those food vendors, we're all probably hungry because it sounds amazing. I'm excited to now introduce Washoe County Commissioner Alexis Hill.
Hello. I'm thrilled to be here. I was actually just telling my seatmates, the Community Homeless Advisory Board met on Monday, and we had a presentation by Brian Bonifant, and he discussed the outlook for our community, and it is very bright and exciting, and I'm hoping he can be a future speaker to this group because I was so jazzed after that presentation, but I just want to give you some highlights of what he told our board. Our in-migration is the top 30th, our county, Washoe County, in the nation. So in 2019, we had 27,600 people coming to our region. And Brian believes that we probably already exceeded 500,000 people in our region, and we're continuing. Our out-migration used to be a pretty bleak number. People would leave this community, especially after they got educated, but now our out-migration is flat, which means people are staying here. And what's exciting for me as an elected official is that is a great opportunity for me to see how can I continue this incredible quality of life in our region. And that's my goal every day when I go to work is how can I preserve quality of life, and then also how can I take care of our most vulnerable community members. So I will be just talking briefly about some of the things that we are doing in Washoe County to ensure quality of life. And I think the other thing that was really exciting about Brian's presentation is that our wages are growing, not just because of what we're seeing in wage growth just nationwide, but because we have shifted our economy to manufacturing and to warehousing. And it was, as we all know, very much on leisure and travel, tourism, and retail. And so that is a great opportunity for us as a region as well to ensure that we have great jobs. Our job per hour average wage has increased from $32 an hour to $45 an hour. So, and that's really also because we are looking at battery making, and the EV market is just now coming online, which is also great for the environment, but also for our region because we are going to be the hub of that type of manufacturing. So I just wanted to give you that exciting highlight. It's tough to be optimistic with all this smoke in the region, and I wanted to make sure I conveyed that to this group. So Washoe County. Washoe County consists of 5 county commissioners that are elected. I represent District 1, which is the Old Northwest, Verdi, and everything west of Arlington and South Virginia. I have half of Midtown, going all the way up to Incline Village and Crystal Bay. And the county is a strong manager form of government, which means we as county commissioners adopt budget and policy and laws But the county manager gives us a recommended budget. So it's a very professionalized government. This is the county leadership that we have in place. And here are the statistics on Washoe County. We're actually the 3rd largest employer in the region. And this is a little bit of a dated slide because, like I said, Brian Bonifant already thinks that we've exceeded 500,000 people in our region. So to give you an idea of what Washoe County consists of, it's Reno, Sparks, and unincorporated Washoe County. As you can see on the image on the right, that is really where the urban center is of Washoe County. But another part of why people are moving to Washoe County is what happens in North Washoe, those great outdoors, those open public lands that we can all use. So how can we ensure that we preserve those and make them accessible to our whole region? So the governance structure of Washoe County is both, we have the city of Reno, the city of Sparks, we have the school district, which Washoe County is separate from. We have GIDs, so Sun Valley, Incline Village, Gerlach, Palomino Valley, and then the North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District. And then we have regional boards that we all sit on. So RTC, the Trekking Meadows Regional Planning, and so I'll be going over some of the work that we're doing on those regional boards. So the first thing I want to talk about is Trekking Meadows Regional Planning Agency. Folks don't know about this agency, and as a former planner, I am thrilled to sit on this board because what we do is we look at how can we ensure sustainable growth for our future of Washoe County. And so it is made up of 3 jurisdictions, Reno, Sparks, and Washoe County. And we also have a regional planning commission that is appointed by all those boards. And we look at major planning decisions in the region. And I love this image because I think it shows, this is the TMSA, the Truckee Meadows Service Area. And we as Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency, we look to see how this TMSA should grow. But as you can see, we are geographically confined in our area to really grow. So what we have done as a planning agency is we have established regional land designation in tiers. And this was something that we did with our 2019 plan. And the tiers, the highest density tiers are really in the core of Reno and Sparks. And then as you go out, we see lower densities. And this is to ensure that we have responsible transportation and water planning. And that I'll be talking about water planning in my next slide. We also are doing some really great work for affordable housing. We created an affordable housing strategy game plan that you can actually find online. It's quite a tome. It's many, many pages, but it is very interesting to see how we can best manage affordable housing in our area. And we are now tracking affordable housing and ensuring that we're not losing affordable housing. Because Brian, in one of his slides, he talked about how 26% of our region still relies on retail and travel, hospitality jobs. And if you are a single person with those type of jobs, you cannot afford an apartment in Washoe County right now. Hopefully that will change. More apartments will be coming online, and we are aggressively, as a region, tackling workforce and affordable housing projects to see how we can get those online more quickly. The next thing that we do is we look at our growth in the region. So you can look up our consensus forecast. We adopt that yearly, and you can see what we look to project for future growth as well. And I realized I was not moving this slide forward. We are also working on a natural resources plan at regional planning. And that is so exciting because we want to, again, preserve these incredible natural resources that we have in our community. And we are doing public outreach on that. So if you are interested in giving us input or learning more about that natural resource plan, please look up Truckee Meadows Regional Planning, and you can see all of our upcoming events for that. The next thing that I want to talk about is TUMWA. This is another regional board that I sit on as a county commissioner, and I love this.
And they share the same passion that my family does. My dad was actually a founder of this organization and has a passion for law enforcement, first responders, as well as military, and they were looking for a home for their Liberty Dogs project. And it was through that connection that you'll see how we've evolved and what lies ahead for the rest of the Damani Ranch. So here's our overall 127 acre site plan. I'm going to qualify this by saying this has all changed. So this was about a year's worth of work, and it's very conceptual. What I can tell you now is that we have the best architects in the world working on this project. The first project I'm going to talk about is Liberty Dogs, and that is what you see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. And you can see, yes, thank you. So that parcel was the last 56 acres that we were going to develop in the Damani Ranch. We held that piece out. That was something we weren't even going to talk about for years to come until we made the acquaintance of the David and Cheryl Duffield Foundation. They were looking for a home to put their Veterans Canine Companion Campus and had run into some issues kind of every step of the way on the sites that they had identified. And naturally, when we heard the story, we said, absolutely, we need to bring it to Damani Ranch. So what is Liberty Dogs? It's that campus there. It's about 190,000 square feet. It's going to be made up of 8 buildings. What's going to happen there is we're going to source dogs from all over the country. Dogs out of shelters, dogs out of inmate training programs, and they'll come to campus and they'll be trained. And they're going to be trained for service animals for our veterans. The veterans will come, 20 of them a month, after they've gone through an extensive pre-qualification process. They'll be accepted into the program and they'll come and live on site for 20 days. The first day they come, they'll be matched with their service animal. And this is based on a whole lot of homework that goes into not just evaluating the dogs, but the veterans as well. They'll live on campus. So what are the 8 buildings? We have a warehouse, obviously, for shipping and receiving. We have Veterans Central. That's where the veterans will come and they will stay for their 20 days. We have an administrative building. We have a kennel for 200 dogs. And we will also, since we'll be bringing some in from various shelters, they'll come in to a quarantine building. We have a full-service veterinarian clinic. And not all of these dogs will make it through the certification process, so we'll want to repurpose them, and so we have a full adoption center. This will service local veterans who already have animals that wish to come in and seek further training. These are not protective dogs, these are companion dogs. These dogs know when our veterans have diabetes and they're slipping into a coma. These dogs know when they're having a night terror before they happen. So these animals are medium-sized dogs, beautiful animals, the most sophisticated trainers from everywhere in the world, and they anticipate about 150 to 200 employees. The timing for this project, and let's see here, a little picture there. The project opening is scheduled for the middle of 2025. Time is of the essence. Right now there's over 400, let's see, I forgot the number. There's hundreds of thousands of people that are waiting for dogs, and we've got to get them into the hands of these service members. And so you can see here, this was an early rendering, and what I can tell you is that's not what it's going to look like. we have architects on board, and we've gone through some modifications. Swaback, maybe you've heard of them. They did the Martis Camp barn, and so they are our architects on the job. And I guess the point in showing this picture is to demonstrate the level of architecture and the quality that's going into this project. as you can imagine, it's going to be significant. And probably, I think the most special thing about the Liberty Dogs campus and what it's going to be doing is that it is at no charge to any of the service members ever. And the project is endowed, right? It gives me the chills, it makes me emotional because nobody's seeking any fundraising. It's fully funded for lifetimes beyond ours, and our veterans never have to pay. And that includes ongoing care for the dogs and whatever it is that they need. So Liberty Dogs was what first came to us on a parcel that we weren't going to develop for some time. And that led into the rest of the story. So the Dave and Cheryl Duffield Foundation it is their foundation that is funding the Liberty Dogs Project. For those of you that don't know Dave and Cheryl Duffield, they're an unbelievably philanthropic, humble, very gracious family. And he was the founder of PeopleSoft, which later sold to Oracle, and then also the founder of a company by the name of Workday. So his final professional gift is a new company by the name of Ridgeline. It does already exist here. Their headquarters are in Incline, and we are blessed to partner with them on our 73 acres. So the 73 acres, you can see there's a drainage channel that actually divides Liberty Dogs from the other 73 acres. My family, in partnership with the Duffield family, is working to develop and the 73 acres, and that is where Ridgeline will be housed. It's 300,000 square feet. It's going to house 1,500 to 2,000 employees, not all at once. They rotate throughout the country. And so the timing for Ridgeline is also in 2025. So the dirt that you see being moved, if you come out to Damani Ranch at all, what you're seeing now is the grading is near complete on Liberty Dogs. We're going to start to mobilize and move into the grading for Ridgeline because they want to get out, they want to open their doors in 2025 as well. So we're super excited about having the technology campus, and of course with that vision came, where are we going to feed these people? Where are they going to shop? And where are they going to live? We need more homes. And so that is, again, where the rest of the story continues. Okay, so again, this is not what it's going to look like. The site plan has changed. All the location on the site is still the same. The architects on this project, we have Gensler. They are a worldwide architecture firm, and it's an honor to get to work with them. They're not only designing the technology campus, but they are also designing the master plan for downtown Damani. So that is the technology campus. Let's see. So again, this is not what it's going to look like. And I should call it, the reason we don't have updated renderings and an updated site plan is because it is work in progress. We are super close. Unfortunately, we decided to put out our initial concept and vision until we're ready to release the final version. So this just gives you an idea of the vision and the magnitude of what the technology campus will look like. But again, it's evolved since then. So now onto what you really want to hear about is downtown Damani. Downtown Damani, again, is the entire 73 acres that's divided by the drainage channel, which will stay there. And we want to create a there. Where do people gather? Where do people come to? Where can families come and let their children play? Mom and dad are having a drink or a cup of coffee. Where can you meet and can you gather? And so that's the division. That's the vision for Damani Ranch. some really important things that are going into our thought process behind developing this new downtown. We're looking into electric cars. We want to make shuttles so that within the Damani Ranch, people don't have to feel like they have to drive the car. We want it to be walkable, pedestrian friendly, bike friendly, everything that we can do to encourage people to get out, and that health and wellness and active lifestyle that we so much love about Reno is what we're bringing to Damani Ranch. And one that we are super passionate about is safety. I can tell you that from day one, on the entire 127 acres, we've mobilized a team of the former chief of police and law enforcement and firefighters, and we have assembled an absolutely awesome team to address security first and foremost for the entire 127 acres. Mom and dad should be comfortable knowing that their kids are in the park or at the amphitheater and that they're safe. So if you think in terms of Disneyland, where it's not in your face, but it's for sure present and you know there's a sense of security, that is our goal, and we hope to achieve that. So that's really important as we look at site design and how people and traffic move through this project. That is our number one priority. What else have I got here? Okay, so you may have seen this logo. That is Downtown Damani. And we are super excited about the logo. We have assembled an unbelievable team to help us with branding and getting the information out into all of your hands so you can get to work. This is a community project. We want you to bring your clients knowing that they have a really great place to come to. Not just in our marketing company, but we've also assembled some consultants that work in the culinary world. And Rick, you're absolutely correct. Reno is starved for the best culinary restaurants you can find, but we are challenged with talent to help make those culinary visions come to life. And it's a real challenge, and it's for sure a block in getting and attracting some of the best restaurants that we so much deserve and can get. So we're getting creative with how we can resolve that, but we have a culinary consultant that's helping us work through that. So the next few slides, again, are totally conceptual, and our first run at it, it's going to look a lot different. But you get the idea and the sense of the feel of what we're trying to create in downtown Damani. This is a sample of an office that opens up to a plaza. Back in the distance, you can see the amphitheater. There's a place for a nice large park in there. And again, we just want to make a place for people to assemble, feel safe, live, work, shop, eat, play, all within it. This is a preliminary site plan. Again, it's changed. We're looking for a hotel. We're looking for restaurants. We're looking for retailers, and we're hoping to attract some things that don't exist here. So we're looking for fresh ideas. The other thing we want to do, this is a sample rendering of a marketplace. We've been talking to some various grocers, and so hoping to attract something unique for here as well. One of the most important things that we're looking at is how do we enjoy all 4 seasons? And the snow is just as beautiful as the sunshine, and so we're looking to create some really cool indoor-outdoor spaces where you can still feel like you're outside, but you're really inside and protected, but you can still enjoy it. Colorado is a really good example, Montana, of how they utilize their spaces so that you can enjoy all 4 seasons. And that's what our architects are working really hard to capitalize on. And of course, we have some of the most magnificent views in the valley. So we are really focused, the orientation, I'll go back to the site plan for a minute. Even though this is changing, the thing that's not going to change is everything's oriented with a view towards Mount Rosenslide Mountain. We want to capitalize on that for everyone that's in there. So that's a huge focus for us. So again, a little picture of what some retail indoor-outdoor space can look like, and of course a nice plaza or common area where we can do street fairs and art fairs and bring in all kinds of fun activities and year-round events. Hopefully some of you have enjoyed our Damani Ranch July 4th. We intend to keep that very much alive and well and give that back to the community. So we want to create a place besides the park where we can gather. Here's another one. Again, this is changing, but it gives you an idea of where our vision started, and as it starts to translate and evolve, this is where we're headed. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is residential. We anticipate about 900 additional residential units in there. There's about 20 acres just to the north of what downtown Damani is that we've kind of reserved out. Residential is super important, again, to the success of this, so that we have a place for all these wonderful Ridgeliners and Liberty Dog employees, and plus, of course, everybody that we have out already looking for homes to go. But this will be anything from a wrap to a 3-story corridor. We're also looking at a more medium, lower density townhome. So it's yet to be defined. We're doing a lot of research to determine what the best fit is there, but you can expect another 900 homes. Just to talk a little bit, because I'm sure many of you have questions, who's doing all these apartments? We have just to the north of the piece, it's kind of a little rectangle. Those are being built by Integra Peaks. We sold that land several years ago, and they're building 300 apartments there, and they've already begun leasing. The corner of Steamboat and Damani Ranch Parkway, it's down in the lower corner. It's just a blank white space, but looks like a triangle. That's actually being developed by the Wolf Companies. That's 480 apartments. They intend to, unless there's been any changes, they're going to start leasing in January. They'll release their first apartments there. So the next question I'm sure you all are asking is, what about all this traffic? It's already congested. We have been working very closely with RTC, and I go back to the master plan and the PUD. Everything within the Damani Ranch was contemplated in a part of that back in the early 1990s when we began this project. And when we built the master infrastructure throughout the Damani Ranch, it was built to the maximum that we needed to be able to service the 2,000-acre master plan community. So there's a lot of surrounding projects, Carmela Ranch, Curdy Ranch, everything that's going up in the foothills, things like Double Diamond that are forcing, that have the traffic coming into Damani Ranch, and we recognize that. So Damani Ranch extension, we think will help that for sure. RTC has been very diligent in paying attention to that. They're working on widening streets, adding additional lanes, and I think that's really exciting because I think that will all help. Other projects that are concluding the Damani Ranch, our family has 2 communities that are for sale that are being built. One is called Torino, and then the other one is Stepping Stones. We do own the gun club. It was the gun club, now it's vacant land. We hope to have another 400 plus homes, but that's a few years away. We have our hands full. One other project that is near and dear to my heart and very exciting is on the corner of Steamboat and Veterans Parkway. That is the Damani Ranch Marketplace. It's going to be a gas station, car wash, a high-end market, and then also, if any of you have ever visited Sprouts Cafe in South Lake Tahoe, they are opening their second location as Tahoe's Natural. In our gas station, it's 3,000 square foot restaurant, and the food is unbelievable, and it's healthy choices, and so we're excited about that. And that's really what's left in Damani Ranch. So does anybody have any questions? Yes? No, I am so glad you asked that. I must get a call a day for Costco. No, there is no Costco going in downtown Des Moines. What you saw here, we are looking to stay away from more of the big box retail. Okay, that is not what the vision is. We want it to be very, the restaurants. We may do 1,500 square foot restaurants, or we might do one larger restaurant, more of a flagship. So, no Costco is going in downtown Des Moines.
First of all, I think all of us here are proud to be Nevadans. We have Rick Azaza, Alexis Hill, and Teresa DiLoretto. They're going to be here for a few more minutes. If you have more questions, don't hesitate. I hope, along with the rest of the First Centennial team, we've given you reason to believe there's a lot of great things happening in Northern Nevada. You can share this with your family, friends, and your clients.